been so that in all my projects I have actually faced quite a lot of problems of the sustainability of the projects. So that is something that one needs to keep in mind when we actually begin drafting the project proposal. That sustainability, how are we going to sustain such things? If it has to be promotion of cultural and linguistic diversity, then how is it going to be sustainable? If it is a radio station, it is also not so sustainable because there is a cost of maintenance that comes in as an operational cost month after month, even after the project is completed. So I would like to hear from the panelists that how have you ensured sustainability of the initiatives that you all are working on?
There are actually, we usually appreciate, approach this from a technology perspective. Now, an FM station costs about 10 lakh rupees to set up, approximately, right? It can actually be set up for 20,000 rupees. The thing is that the government of India is not approving, except for certain vendors. Probably there's a back channel of corruption involved here. All right. Now, if you actually reduce that cost down to 10,000 rupees and specifically design the system in such a way that it can work in a very, that's ruggedized, it doesn't have to be in a special room, etc., using noise cancelling techniques, etc. Then actually the cost of even running it becomes extremely low, and it can be completely voluntary. I understand that, for people to commit their time, they still have to be paid, but I think we can get down to technology solutions where the main cost of running it is a human cost rather than anything else. Okay, and that can easily be done.
Now sustainability is $1 million question. I mean, it's something that all community radios in India, except a few, they are having to face this issue. But more than the financial sustainability, we have always talked more about social sustainability, which is that if there is community participation, if there is a buy-in from the community, they will do anything to ensure that the station keeps running. If they see some benefit coming out of it, right? In the previous session, we've talked about access, we've talked about agency, we've talked about action. So if all of this is something that is coming out of the radio station, there is participation. And as long as there is participation, somehow the sustainability, follows. Having said that, the organization that has set up the community radio station has a very big role to play, because if the organization takes care of some of the aspects, for example, if they have projects that are linked to the community radio station, and any project that they get, there is one part of that project which is linked to production of programs related to that topic. Right? So that's how a lot of the non-governmental organizations are making community radio initiatives sustainable. Also, we've always said that community radio should not be looked at as the panacea for all development problems. It is one of the things which supplements the work that is already going on. So if the NGO is one which genuinely gets the participation of the people, gives them decision-making powers in, let's say, the community radio management committee, there will be ways in which the radio station can be sustained. Yeah. Okay.
To sustain the community network in Nepal, we are doing a best practice that we hand over all the equipments to the community. We form a steering committee of 7 persons, and we hand over everything to them. And after that, they will control all the hubs or internet access. They will collect a little bit of amount with the villagers to sustain that community networks.
There are 3 aspects of the There are two aspects of sustainability. One is the economic sustainability, and another is the social. Very big aspect with the social sustainability, because while designing a community network, we always think about that we do need to come up with the cost of infrastructure cost, we need to come up with the bandwidth cost, we need to think about all those costs which are surrounding when we are setting up a community network. That was one of the reasons that we went to the radio station as well, because they do have a technical infrastructure available and they do understand the technicalities as well. Skilled human resource was there. They understand how to broadcast, they understand how to store the content, they understand how to maintain the content and operate and how to do everything around surrounding that. Another benefit about the radio station was that with us is that they do have a social sustainability. They are there, they understand the community, and they will be there, always will be there. But that's something which is underrated. But I just acknowledge that we are not so sustainable as well. Right now we are in a revenue generation model, but not the typical. I was working some other organization and I was feeling that particular amount from my salary to the another one just to run the programs that sustain the network itself, because we would like to sustain the network to this one. So like setting up a local server, setting up a different kind of access points. I used to pay from my own pocket that okay, we need to run that. Similarly, like my radio station or the local Niaz was helping us out with the another level of human resources, that he was utilizing his human resources for not only for the program perspective but also to sustain that the maintenance of the local infrastructure as well. So it's a both ways goes actually in hand in hand. When you really want to do something, you need to have a local person or a local organization who can understand, not only understand, but has a willingness to be consistent on that. Sustainability is like we will be able to achieve sometime, but not presently we are not so sustainable as well. I'll acknowledge that part. But yes, we are moving towards that. Okay, how we are going to acknowledge it? Like this state of call service which we are going to start it as well is also one model of sustainability that we are thinking about it. That how we can engage SHG women to not only sustain them but also to sustain the network, sustain the radio station and all the surroundings that which we can create an ecosystem around that. Some of the portions we do think about it, okay, we can start this service, we can start that service, but for that purpose also we need a lot of community mobilization, we need a training, and that's where the philanthropic organization CSR has to come forward as well, that okay, they do need to understand that radio station is there. Radio stations are not only to provide the content or not only to provide some kind of services, all the burdens. They should not be thinking like Ashhar workers in India right now. Most of our radio stations are talked about that they are Ashhar workers and millions of our jobs are given to the radio stations. That should not be the case. They should be understand, okay, they also are running a radio station which has a lot of costs around it. And if I may say that the government of India is not paying the charges for the radio station advertisement as of now. There are so many pending things which are there. So they are dependent on philanthropic organizations. So some channel has to become on the policy side as well, that what kind of services they can run for the longer term sustainability and for the longer term of how they can maintain it. Because every channel cannot be a philanthropic base, every channel cannot be, every services cannot be free services as well. They have to run the services on the chart basis. What kind of services they can run, whether they can distribute the network or not. The distribution of a network cannot be done by the radio station. But what kind of services that they can adopt it? Is it digital services they can adopt it? Then that's a requirement of a framework that we need to come, that how we can create a sustainability framework or how we can create a framework around that where UNESCO or any other such organization which can participate and create such kind of a framework that how they can survive in these difficult situations as well.
May I add a small point? Yeah. So another thing linked to sustainability is, I said participation. Now we cannot romanticize participation. Participation also comes with a cost, and volunteerism especially is something that needs to be reinterpreted in the Indian context. So expecting people who are on daily wages to come and work for community radio sometimes doesn't work. My research scholar here, Vamshi and I, we were in Vanya radio station in Dindori, and when we were interacting with the staff, all of them were paid staff. And if they have to get indigenous people from the indigenous community to come and participate in any program or contribute a song, there always has to be some kind of incentive or some kind of a compensation. Also, if you look at young people, they are sometimes willing to come and volunteer in community radio station because they link it with skill building. So the skills that they gain of the computer skills or broadcasting skills, they're able to use it to get better jobs. So while we talk of sustainability and participation, there has to be a rethink on the whole volunteerism, volunteers aspect of community radio.
I'll just add one more point, that definitely the volunteer thing is, I completely buy her point that volunteer cannot be done on an empty stomach. We cannot do that. We need a money, we need a run any kind of a sort of a services. We need to understand that what kind of a services which we are doing it. Every kind of, even like a gram panchayat or a district collector has to come forward, or like, okay, this radio station, and they need to acknowledge that radio station, that this is running. Information services can be provided free of a cost, but on a freemium basis model also, they need to support with the some aspect of it. What kind of a some aspect can be driven, thought through with the help of a local community itself. You can take a volunteers, young volunteers, but the cost of a food, cost of some kind of a thing has to be acknowledged on that level. There is a need to there's also need to understand that we can bundle a number of services, but what kind of a services need to be bundled, whether we would like to bundle a services of digital services, whether we would like to bundle a services of e-commerce or a Swiggy or Zomato or such things, but that has to be localized, that has to be decentralized in a thought-way process, that it should not deconstruct the local shop, it should not deconstruct the surroundings of a radio station and the region itself. That so much of a corporatization which I'm seeing in a Bhadrak region as well, that Swiggy, Zomato, Zeomart have come and they are taking the jobs of the local people. Local vendors are cutting out their salaries, or sabji walas are not there. So that's the basic things that which we need to understand. Okay, what kind of a things that we can incorporate in such kind of a system as well.
Yeah, we can also collaborate with the local government.
Yeah, true.
Without local government, we can't work in the rural communities. And after that, we have to give the proper training to the local communities. If I give the example of Everest Community Network, it is at the altitude of 4,000 meters. In the harsh weather or something, no one can go to provide technical assistance. So, in the past days, we have provided 6 days technical training to the Sherpa people, how to maintain the network. The community network is their network, and we have provided the training to sustain that thing. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, here we all heard the example from community media, but I would just want to close by saying that in our community network, the Pathardi Community Network, we did not have a community radio station. But yet, the Varli tribes with whom I worked, they told that they can capitalize on the cultural heritage that they have. And we got thinking about what could be the cultural heritage apart from dance and song and painting. They told that we have quite a lot of biodiversity knowledge. You know, they could tell that, okay, this tree, the leaves of this tree can be had during the summer season when there is absolutely nothing around, no food to be eaten. And and that tree can do something else, and that flower can happen, something can be done. So they had such a lot of biodiversity knowledge around that. And then we sat down and we thought that, okay, let us think of how you can earn some money out of that knowledge of yours. So we set up an open source knowledge sharing platform with the community, and they were asked to sort of put in their knowledge, share their knowledge with the community in the form of photographs, in the form of some interviews by the local youth. And then we also had these food festivals arranged by the tribe, the community themselves, and they started earning small amounts of money. So yeah, so I would like to end this session today with wonderful insights from all your initiatives, starting from the technology initiative to the work on community media, the Sherpa community, and the CR Bolo. It was a very interesting insight that we learned, all of us have learned, and wishing all of you all success for your future endeavors. Thank you.